There are two happy days in Spyderco collector's life. The first one is when you buy the latest release of your favorite model, and the second is when you realize that they just released another model solidly based on the one you already love. Here is EdgeRatti. Don't say EdgeRatta. That means totally different thing. You know, actually they could have called it Shaman Ultralight or Skillacious, because they all share the same chassis, like Chrysler K cars in the 80s and the 90s. Hi Eric, I mean Mr. Glesser. And to continue with the analogy, they swapped out a 2.2 four-banger with a turbo version of the same and lightened the frame, which would be scary if Chrysler did it, but with Spyderco we're a-okay. So, based on Shaman, 3D printed aluminum, or aluminium as they say in the UK, must be the first one for Spyderco. Somebody please let me know. I don't think Spyderco makes factory models with aluminum scales, or there's a scale slash frame. Never seen one before, and I could be wrong about that. Cool thing is they made it more tactical and less tactical at the same time. They eliminated the tip down pocket clip mounting holes, so it's still ambidextrous, but only with a tip up configuration. But to sort of, maybe they felt bad or just wanted to appeal to our tactical vibe, they made this a straight clip point. Still a distal taper blade. I mean, you're probably not going to notice any difference looking in this direction. Everything lines up the same. Jimping the same. Stop pin in the same exact spot. Same pocket clip. And basically, I'm not going to waste your time comparing it to any more knives, because I just did the video about this one, and it's just like withers my mind to do what every other reviewer is going to do for you anyway. So I'm going to skip that whole thing, and not going to put a PM2 or PM3 or Benchmade Griptilian, or in this case, Ritter Hogue. You're not going to see it today. We're going to jump right into the review, because I am eager to see what this aluminum looks like under the microscope. You know, how many people own 3D printed aluminum knives? Oh, and before I forgot, I was destined to own an EdgeRatti because at the Atlanta Blade Show 2025, I spent quite some time chatting with Sal and Eric, and they ran out of these on the first day, so Eric's right-hand man, I think his name is Alex, took it off of the lapel of his coat and gave it to me. And so I felt that after that, I have to own the real thing. Yeah, this is a lapel pin. And it's been properly displayed on a little stand I made out of Kydex for it, taunting me all these months. I mean, give us a break. They announced it a year ago, and I've been wanting it for 6 months. That's like, how many days? It's like a lots of days, like maybe, what, 180, and then there are all these emperor months with extra day. Anyway, long time. All right, now may be a good time to hit the like button, because it's going to be exciting. Let's start the actual review. Okay, they call it EdgeRatti. Is it like Illuminati, but with edge? So if you're going to put the word edge in the knife's name, we're going to inspect it in earnest, and this is what we're going to use. This is my very inexpensive microscope from Amazon. It has USB-C connector, and when I plug it into any USB-C handheld device or iPad, its own app comes up. Let me get it cranking here. It lights up, the app comes up, and now, especially if you like sharpening, you got a tool to look at the edge with. Became essential to my sharpening process. So we're going to start with a small EdgeRatti, this guy, and I hate to inform you guys, but it has absolutely no cutting edge. Kind of disappointed, but let's look at its larger version, starting with, oh my god. Now that's a tip. Whew. I forgot to do that with a Salt Shaman. So here's the tip on the salt shaman. You see my excitement, where it's coming from? Here's a little bit of a radius on the tip. And this angle is maybe 70 degrees here to here. This guy has a very, very pointy point, I guess, acute point. And the angle here is about 35, 40 degrees. This knife will poke. Ah, gorgeous. Well, let's see. What am I seeing here? I'm giving you like a straight on view. It's already dusty. No apex line. You know what that means? That means perfect apex. If apex isn't, let me make it brighter. I can't even, like, goodness. Make it super bright. Look at that. No apex line. That's perfect apex right there. Is it like this everywhere? I mean, it's S30V, which some of our internet knife experts will say, why such a basic steel on such expensive? And I'll tell you, I'll take a well heat-treated S30V and maybe a little bit of burr left hanging just for our stropping hobby. Anyway, I'll take a well heat-treated, well-sharpened S30V over mediocrely heat-treated MagnaCut, which unfortunately, the edge is beautiful on that too. Good job, but not quite as perfect as on EdgeRatti. Sorry about all the dust on the blade. Okay, so somehow I feel, how should I say, less cheated with this knife. They clearly stropped it, which is, look at this. Right here, you can see a little bit of convexity. That means they were stropping it. They don't normally strop all that much. This one has a little touch of stropping too, so they probably run it on a finer belt. And the grit is, this is a little toothier, as appropriate for S30V. You want S30V to be toothier because of a less dense and larger carbide structure than MagnaCut. MagnaCut is a beast of refined metallurgical structure. I know, using long words here, guys, pardon me. Can't help it. Yeah, both knives have perfect edges. Sorry I didn't show it to you in a full review of this knife. Let's put it away. Gorgeous. All right, now I know you're all waiting for the aluminum, so let's just stick. Ooh, what is it? Is it? You know, to me, it looks like a micrography over steel. You can kind of see printing layers here. You can see these lines here. Interesting. I'm surprised nobody tried to 3D print them aluminum. I coined this phrase here, or term, Damascus aluminum. Could you not possibly 3D print different sort of color aluminum? Somebody who is a metal 3D printing expert, chime in on that. That would be awesome. Like show three-dimensional structure. Look at this. These are not coating. I don't think they are. I guess I should read up on this. And now what you see on the iPad screen here is my lovely wife's blonde curly hair. And it's stretched across the lens protector on the microscope, but without too much tension. So let's see if this perfect edge can whittle this hair. Hard to see here. I feel like it's cutting in, but I can't see it. See maybe a little more tension. I don't know. Is it? Oh yes, it sure is. Look at that. Can you see it in the right hand corner there on the bottom? There it is. It's unusual for a factory edge to do this. At least I think it is. My choice was wait until I finish the brand new paper towel roll or use this item, which now that I'm married, there's a plentiful supply of. Not to mention various Kleenex dispensers and wet wipes. But I'm glad this item is here, and I'm happy to report it's being cut really well. Now, this is not the slices geometry in a conventional sense, because the blade is so wide, there's plenty of opportunity for friction to build up as you're cutting through. You need a slimmer or narrower blade to achieve full cutting potential. But as far as taking a bite into this very fibrous material impregnated with glue, this thing is a demon. Don't put any of your other knife purchasing plans on back burner, because we still have to test the hardness. To do that, we first need to extract the blade, and to do that, I'm using this Hoto multi-bit driver that I shamelessly promote in the links in the description. Among other knife-related tools that not do I only recommend, but actually use and show you in a lot of my videos. What I like about the Hoto, it's S2 tool steel tips. Follow the link on Amazon and see that they state 58 to 60 Rockwell hardness for this driver bits. And you know what? You bet you, I tested it and it's true. Using T10 on the pivot screw and T8, or you can actually use T9s on the other hardware. And this time I'm going through the show side, because I also want to see how they created the locking bar tension, since Shaman and Bodacious both have full liners and this thing doesn't. If you watched my Shaman salt review that I just published a couple days ago, you remember how tight the liners and the scales were fitted on the knife. This one comes apart a lot easier, and I don't know if they opened up the tolerances or it's just the property of construction. And the washers lining up better. There's no, unlike on Shaman and other Spydercos that I've disassembled in the past, the back of the blade looks like basically Shaman blade, or Bodacious for that matter. And yes, there are people out there who already tried the swap and supposedly it works. This is interesting. This blade is dated June 2025, meaning that the moment I saw the knife at the Atlanta Blade Show and handled one, they already created this blade just for me. How about that? For your time's sake, it being Christmas Day when the video releases, I am going just to show you my verification of calibration, where I use this documented NIST independently certified, serialized, and rated 62 HRC calibration block. And then I'll just show you the results of the pokes. And that is, instead of one long continuous segment, you just have to take my word for it. There's no finagling or behind the scenes foul play. And I'll show you the 3 and only 3 pokes on the blade after I'm done. To those of you who think S30V is basic anemic steel, you are wrong. You're basing it on the fact that most manufacturers heat treated to meager 59 to 61 HRC, but as you can see from this chart, it can go all the way to 64. Let's see how my calibration is doing. I got 62 smack on. It's a well-tuned device. All we have to do is grab the blade and start measuring. Here we go. The measurement on the first poke is 61.9. Well, no complaints here. This is probably as high as I've seen S30V. And the second poke is coming in at 62 HRC. I'm starting to like this video. And speaking of, hit the like button, because the third poke is coming in at 62 again. I don't know who heat treated this batch or how they did it, but I'd like to shake his hand and buy him a beer, because this is great. And I'm just showing you the 3 pokes here on the back of the blade, as I promised earlier. The hardness test is done, but there's something else I'd like to show you and talk about. The reassembly was very uneventful. My ploy to hide the test divots didn't work out. I totally disregarded the fact that it's going to be exposed. So now when I turn the blade, I can actually see the little divots from Rockwell hardness testing. I think it adds collector's value. What do you guys think? Anyway, the reason I brought out other Spideys, and those are my favorite Spyderco knives, you know. So I wanted to compare ergonomically, just subjectively tell you how it feels in hand. So when I grab this, it kind of feels squarish, very similar to this style G10 with either carabine or just blackout salt pattern. But I feel like this offers you a little more lock, especially here under your fingers. You really feel it. It's a little boxy, and I do feel the tip of the pocket clip, which at some point needs to become factory shortened and maybe deep carry. Anyway, see, complaining about a perfect or near perfect knife. Compared to the more aggressive salt series and lightweight series, jimping here, or whatever you call checkering here, this feels actually a little bit softer at the edges, but a little more aggressive. I'd say a little unpleasant on your finger. You all know that, right? It's not news to you. So it's very aggressive barb style checkering here. This feels a little more aggressive but softer at the edges. And then finally the G10, the way they executed, feels a little less secure in hand. You know, like I get really good traction with my fingers here, but all in all, for some reason, I feel like if I'm holding this, there's no way for it to slip at all. So let me ask you, if you're not subscribed to my channel, why aren't you? I give these type of reviews all the time, in-depth, unaffiliated, unassociated, and free of BS. So hit that subscribe button, and if you really want to help my channel, there are a couple things you can do that cost you nothing. Hit the hype button. That's a new feature on YouTube. Or you can copy the link to the video. You don't really have to share it. You just hit the share button, copy the link, and the algorithm doesn't really know what you do with that link afterwards, but I do appreciate if you share it with your social media friends. As you can see, EdgeRatti has an excellent balance. It's very easy to manipulate in hand. It weighs 3.4 ounces or 97 grams, so it's a very lightweight knife for its size. It definitely has my good to go seal of approval. Not that it matters. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.